What's going on, my dudes? This is Mr. Gardner, and this is Math Time with Mr. G. Today we're going to work on function form. Function form is saying I have y equals mx plus b, but I have another line that I want to draw in there that's also in the same format. I have two y's now, and that can be confusing. So let's say that this was middle schoolers taking their algebra test, and this is high schoolers taking their algebra test. This is confusing having both of these be y then. So instead we can write them as function of x, which just means I plug in an x and I get an output. So function of x. Plug in an x, get a number. So another way that we could write that is just y. But this makes it less confusing. So in middle school we could say it's a function of x. And then for our second one we could do g of x. And that would represent our high schoolers. That way we can identify which line is which. I could have done h of x, smiley face of x. It doesn't matter as long as I'm saying I'm plugging in a value and getting something out of it. So there's multiple ways that we can write in function form. We can write one-to-one, which means I have one input to one output. So that means that each line only goes to one number. It's okay if they cross, it's okay if they go directly in front. All that matters is that one number on one side touches one number on the other. Many to one means that I have many numbers and they're all going to finish at one location. One to many means I have one set of numbers that's finishing in many different locations. And then many to many means I have a number that can finish in many different locations. So it could finish 3 locations, it could finish in 2 locations, or it can finish just in one. A group of numbers that are going to several different locations. So what is a function? A function just means that there is no repeats in x. So that means I can have repeats in y, just no repeats in x. So let's look at this first example. I have 1, 2, 3, negative 1, 3, 4. I have no repeats in this x, so we would say, yes, it's a function. Second example, I have 1, 2, 3, and 4, 4, 4. It's okay if y has multiple outputs that are the same, but we just can't have any repeats in x. So this is also a function. My third example, I have no repeats in y, but that doesn't matter. What matters is I have a repeat of x and negative 1, so we would say this is not a function. Okay, if we get a bubble graph, what this means is this is my x column, this is my y column. And what this really means is that 1 goes to negative 1, and then 2 to negative 2. It's okay that this one is not used, and it's also okay that we have multiple going to the same y, but I have no repeats in x, which means that this is a function. Again, this means x, this means y, and then putting this in a table form, it means I would have 1 at negative 1 and 1 also at negative 2 because it goes to both locations, and then 3 at negative 3. I have a repeat in x with this 1 because it goes to 2 different locations, so this is not a function. Okay, Mr. Gardner, what happens if I don't have a table, I don't have the numbers, what can I do? We're going to do our vertical line test, which means I'm going to draw a line straight up and down, and if it crosses once, then this is a function. If it crosses more than once, it is not a function. Okay, so let's look at our examples. I draw a vertical line, and I can do it at any point that I want. And let's look at where my vertical line crosses. This only crosses once, once, and once. So this is a function. This next one, I draw multiple vertical lines going down. My vertical lines only touch my graph once. So this is also a function. This last one, I do some vertical lines going down. This crosses once, twice. This one crosses once, twice. So that's more than once, so that's not a function. All right, you guys, if you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section. But other than that, be kind to each other, ask lots of questions, and think deeply.